Hi, welcome here. This is Dan Doyle, recruiting coach manager at NCSA. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Maryville College is head coach, Coach Placeres. Coach Placeres, thank you for joining us here today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, our pleasure, our pleasure. And so Maryville College is located in Tennessee and is a fantastic basketball program, which Coach Placeres will talk to us about. And so, Coach, why don't you introduce yourself for those that don't know, and maybe just a brief introduction on, the Maryville basketball program to start.
Yeah, Coach Raul Placeres, born and raised in Miami, Florida. I've been here with our college now for 10 years. I'm going into my second year as the head coach here at this program. Played here at 03 through 05, transferred here from Keystone Junior College, who now is a Division III school. Had some good success here as a player. Got to go to a Sweet 16 as a player and round of 32 as a senior. And we've continued that now, coaching. We're one of the few programs in our region that have amassed as many NCAA tournaments as we have had. We have 20 NCAA tournaments in total, which puts us, top 15 all time in over 420 Division III schools. So, just really proud of the success that we've had here in our program. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with the great student athletes that we recruit here to our institution.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one thing I shared here early was some of the in-state programs that you not necessarily compete against, but are measured on in terms of success. And you can see Maryville there is second in win percentage since 2000, and you've had the pleasure of being on the player side of it, and as an assistant coach and head coach, continuing that tradition there. So outstanding success there at the small college level. And what's the conference that you play in? It's called the Big South, correct?
Yeah, USA South.
USA South?
Yeah, USA South is comprised of about, now it's 13 male teams. I know we have a little bit more female teams in the conference, but it's divided into two different divisions. And then, come current tournament time, it's, top 4 teams in each league advance.
Okay. It's a little bit unique in that you guys have a little bit more travel than, a traditional conference at the Division III or Division II level. Tell us a little bit on maybe how far it's spread out, going from North Carolina as far as west as.
Yeah, we go as far as North Carolina. We go Virginia, stretch over to Kentucky, go down to Georgia. So, it's spread out quite a bit. But, I think that's why it makes it such an interesting conference. The travel and the back-to-back, it makes it really tough. For a lot of the other leagues, they typically play a Friday, Sunday, where in our league, we play back-to-back conference games. So when you're able to, to win the regular season title, it means, a big deal just because of how hard it truly is with the travel demands.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, and part of the reason you guys have been so successful is you've been able to recruit, some high-level student athletes that can help you raise some of these banners here. And so tell me, what's the academic profile that you look for in a recruit? GPA, test scores. What are some things that you're looking for when beginning the recruiting process?
Well, as you well know, our academic profile is a 3.5 and a 24 ACT. But like any other institution, there's a give and take in regards to, higher GPA, maybe a lower test score, or a higher test score, lower GPA. So it's one of those things where, we work at it with the student athlete and their families in regards to making it work. But academics is very important here, and we want to recruit the type of young man who's going to excel not only on the floor, but obviously off the floor.
Okay. What are some of the more popular majors there at Maryville College?
Well, on our team, our education is one, business is another. Exercise science, criminal justice. Probably my 10 years here as a coach, those 4 have been the most, that the kids are typically graduating from. So, that gives you a little bit of an idea of what majors guys are obviously taking here at the college.
Perfect, perfect. And then do you guys implement study tables or have academic advisors for that?
We do. That's one of the great things, and we talk about this in our recruiting pitch when the kids come on campus. we have a gentleman by the name of Noah Bowman who runs our Cooper Success Center. That's every Tuesday and Thursday in our gym. It's led by student athletes, and they basically have a tutor for every class that you can possibly think of, to help our student athletes obviously succeed at a high level. That's one of the things that we're really proud of the guys that stay for 4 years. We graduated 98%, got a 98% graduation rate. So, if you just pay attention, you go to class and you seek help, which, a lot of times that's the biggest thing for first year, especially for first year college students, is seeking the help. We will do our best to obviously help you in your 4-year career here as a student.
Okay. And then what is your coaching style, philosophy, on the floor?
Man, I think I'm a player's coach. When you play, you obviously learn a lot from the coaches you played for on how to do things and how not to do things. And I'm extremely demanding. I'm your harshest critic, and but you're your biggest cheerleader. So it's one of those things where I'm going to demand excellence from my guys, and that's what we're about. But we try to talk about commitment. We talk about being just being selflessness and having a team unity feel to our program.
Okay. And that goes into my next question is, a lot of these coaches, as kids go through the recruiting process, they're going to talk about what they do on the floor, but also their program's culture. I think if you listen to ESPN or any college basketball on a Saturday, you're going to hear Jay Billis, you're going to hear Gus Johnson say this program's so successful because of their culture. So tell me a little bit about, off the floor, or what your program's culture is all about there.
I think it's 4 things we look at when we try to recruit a student athlete to our program. You got to have a team first attitude. We talk about having a swagger of a champion, and having a swagger of a champion is not just having the nice pair of socks or the nice pair of shoes or pumping your chest when you hit a big 3. The swagger of a champion is being a good teammate off the floor, being a good teammate when you step off the floor, taking a charge, diving on the floor. Being on time to our team meetings, and you see it here, where those are the 4 things that we look for in a player when they come to our program. We're going to hold you accountable in everything that we do within our program, whether it be on the floor, in the film room, walking around campus. I tell the guys all the time, they're a walking billboard of themselves every day they wake up. So it's important for them to protect their, who they are as a person, because before they, in a blink of an eye, the 4 years come and go, and they're having to get ready and tackle the real world. And, and then the last 2, having a passion for basketball. I'm an extremely passionate, I guess that's my Cuban blood in me. I'm an extremely passionate coach. And I think that's the way players want to be coached. We talk about, a good mentor of mine, Coach Frank Martin, who's at South Carolina. We talk about there's no such thing as tough coaching. You either love your players or you don't. And that's kind of my mantra here. I love you so much that I want you to do the very best. And if you're the type of player who enjoys that, I think this is the type of program for you. Then obviously, having a burning desire to be the best you can be. We always talk about, the worst version of yourself is when you arrive on campus. That's the worst version of yourself. And hopefully in the next 4 years, you'll see a big improvement, on and off the court.
Absolutely. So, those are great things to install in your team there, and no wonder why you've had success there. Outside of a player looking like this guy that you sent the picture of, who can just go up and hammer it home, what are some of the intangibles or things that you're looking for in a recruit, as you begin the process and start to evaluate them?
I always say when I go and watch guys play, and, when I say this at events or I go to speak to different showcases around the country, I talk about, I want to see them play their worst game, because it speaks a lot about who they are and their character as a young man. And, obviously if they play well, that's great for me, because that's a good trip on a recruiting trip. But I want to see how they interact when things don't go their way. I want to see how they interact with their teammates, how they interact with their coach. Because, it's a part of the evolution of the player. Not everything is going to go your way in your 4 years at the collegiate level. And I need to know how you handle those adversities through a season. So, I look how a young man speaks to his mother. I think that's really important when they're on a visit. I pay attention to those little things when we go to the cafeteria and we sit down and, does he respect his mom? Because if he doesn't, then, he's probably not going to do a very good job of respecting the coaching staff. And I feel, those little things matter to me. How attentive they are on their visit. Are they on their phone? Are they not on their phone? How important is the visit to them? And, just the little things that amount to big things when you're trying to win at a high level. And it's important for us to focus and, and hone in on those important attributes that impact winning.
Absolutely. As a coach, how important is the visit for you guys in the recruiting process? Is that make or break for many of your recruits?
I wouldn't say it's make or break, but it's really important. You being a fellow coach, you understand the budget levels at our level are not the greatest. And so we have to make the best with what we have. And it's one of those things that, with the demands of a season and how many games and practices you have, we really don't have the time to get out and watch as much as we would like. So those on-campus visits are really, really important to determine if the young man obviously is what we need and what we want in our program.
Real good. And then I'm going to share this video here of your gym. And while this video is playing, tell me a little bit on what you're trying to accomplish in between the lines. What's your philosophy offensively, defensively? What could a recruit expect to, how should they expect to be coached by you, in the system that you play?
Yeah, we've traditionally been a 4-out, 1-in. We've had 5 All-Americans since 2003. 3 of those 5 All-Americans have been, 5 men on the block. We try our best to have good spacing offensively. We've gone to a little bit more drive and space where it's creating a lot more space for us to drive and create and, play off the pitch, post up as a guard if we have the advantage to do that. But we're trying to be up tempo. We typically average about 80 points a game and hold teams to about 70, which is obviously that's winning basketball, and we try our best to play that way. We're traditionally man-to-man, and we'll incorporate, some zones, a 1-3-1, a 1-2-2, a little bit of a 2-2-1 here and there, but traditionally man-to-man and 4-out, 1-in offense, and try to score, within the first 7 to 12 seconds of the shot clock, and just a brand of basketball that is fun to play, that it's easy to grasp. I think that's really important. When you bring in kids from all different types of backgrounds, as you well know, the high school level, some guys are very set oriented. Some are, run and jump just defensively. So when they get to college, we have to do our job as coaches to put a brand in it and to teach the philosophies on offense and defense that are very easily to obviously understand and be able to produce out on the floor.
Absolutely. And so, nothing worse than going to some of those high school games and the coaches suck the air out of the gym and all they do is run their flex set, 20 times in a row to get a layup and wait for the defensive breakdown. I'm sure you've sat through some of those as well as I. So
that's when you bring a lot of cash, and so you can eat a lot of popcorn.
Exactly. So, and then tell me a little bit about your off-season program. What should recruits expect in the spring and summer? With you being Division III, obviously you're limited with getting your hands on them. But do you have a strength and conditioning coach? Do you have senior-led workouts? Tell me a little bit about that.
We've been really blessed to, as of last year, we have our own strength and conditioning coach. We have 2 different places where we can lift weights. The one you're seeing right now in the video, that's the new alumni gym, but we can use from time to time. It has an extra gym there that we can use when either our women's program or there's activities going on or women's volleyball going on.
At first, I thought this was an NBA gym with the glass look through there, man.
Looks good, man. It looks good. Our college is heading in the right direction in regards to, just making everything look good and up to date. The next step is our gym, which you just saw. That looks really good, but we're hoping that we continue to implement new things into our building. But in regards to preseason, our strength and conditioning coach handles that for the first 6 weeks of it. And then, obviously our season starts and then we go through our season. We typically lift 2 to 3 times a week. And then after the season is over, we give the kids about 2 weeks off. Once they come back from spring break, we will start our off-season strength and conditioning, which typically takes 4 to 5 weeks. And then each player takes home the individualized strength and conditioning program they need to follow. And if I can say anything to any players out there that are interested in Maryville College or not interested in Maryville College, that's one of the biggest things you can do for yourself as a player, is really buy into the weight room, because that's the difference from being able to play as a freshman in college and being able to be very successful in your 4 years at the collegiate level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure as you were saying that, you've probably had, 5 to 10 instances in your coaching career where it was a 50-50 ball, and, you either got it and you're like, that guy spent time in the weight room, that's why he got it, or you didn't get it and you lost the game. And, it's a learning curve that some of these kids have to go through. So when you were talking about that, I've got battles of, the conference teams we played in, the CCIW, just beating each other up, and the stronger team usually won those games when it came down to a possession or two. So, what are the goals you have for your program? As you said, you're just getting started here, going into your second year as the head coach. What are some of the goals that you have 4 to 5 years out here for?
Well, it's like anything. We want to continue to compete at a championship level. We've been to 15 out of the last 19 conference championships. We won 13 out of those 15. So championships are expected here within our program. We haven't won that big trophy, which is the national championship. And that's what every program, I hope, obviously, it tries to attain. And we're trying to do that. But it starts with us and what we do. It's one of those things where we're going to continue to search for that. We're going to continue to work towards that national championship. We have 20 NCAA tournaments, which, like I said, is the most of any South region team. We've won 13 conference championships, tournament conference championships, and been to 3 Sweet 16s, 1 Elite 8, but we're missing that national title. So we're going to continue to work in that direction, and I feel really good about our program. We've gotten some Division I transfers in this last class. We're bringing back the Rookie of the Year in the conference. We basically have about 80% of our team is back production-wise from last year's team, which I played 9 freshmen, so that's the reason I don't have any hair. Okay? I had to play 9 freshmen. I had 1 senior and 9 freshmen last year, but it bodes well. And part of this, and we preach this a lot, it's about the process, and I know that's very cliche-ish, but it's the truth. It's about the process of growing. We talk about staying in the growth phase. That's what it's about. Not only in basketball, but academically. Once you graduate, stay in that growth phase. Don't plateau, don't peak, don't decline, stay in anything that you do, continue to stay in that growth phase. So, that's kind of, one of our phrases. We talk about me first. You gotta take care of you first. You gotta do your job, but you do your job because you're thinking about the big picture, which is us. So,
real good. God bless you for coaching 9 freshmen. Future is definitely bright.
Very bright, very bright.
Tell me a little bit about Maryville College, campus life. What's the on-campus housing look like there for incoming freshmen?
Well, we have a really unique situation here. We're about 8 to 10 minutes from the major airport, which is Tyson-McGee. Which we say we let Knoxville borrow it because it's actually in the Alcoa Maryville area, but we're 15-20 minutes away from the University of Tennessee, which has over 30,000 students, and then we're about 30 to 45 minutes from the Great Smoky Mountains. So if you want city college atmosphere, you have it. If you want to go up and obviously experience the mountain life and whatsoever, you can do that. On campus, we have about 7 dorms. We have traditional dorms, all girls dorms, all freshman dorms to start your collegiate career. And then we have, the apartment setting, college dorms, like most campuses have. And it's just really pretty, man. I'm a city guy, so when I got here, you get to experience the 4 seasons. In Miami, it's only hot, it's hot and hot. You know what I mean? So here you get to experience it all. Extremely, obviously I'm biased. I graduated from here, I coach here, but everyone who comes to our campus talks about the beauty of the campus and, just we talk about the quality of our education, the quality of our program, but also the quality of, the life on campus. We've been very blessed when we haven't had many issues on campus, where it's a free, open campus and you can access at any point. And, that helps us within our community. We have, we didn't talk about it, but, for the last 20 years, we've ranked top 10 in attendance at our games, which is really, really important at the Division III level. For a small school, we really have a great environment.
Great. That's great to hear. Do freshmen usually live with other basketball players? Do you pair them up? And then, after their freshman year, you see that the guys are living together?
Yeah, what we do is I host an individual little kids camp in the summer, in June. And what I do is every freshman who signs with us comes and works the camp. I'll bring some returners back so they can mingle and get to know each other. And what we do is after camp, our camp takes about 4 days for it to be over. I'll meet with them at the end of camp and say, hey, who did you hit it off with? And we pair you up that way. A lot of why we do that, especially, as a freshman, time management skills are very important. Structure is extremely important in your first year. I want our guys to kind of stay in the same schedule with one another. So we do that. We don't have many guys who, stay off campus. Those are typically commuters. We have about 3 or 4, here and give and take every couple of years. But everyone, for the most part, rooms together in their 4 years. And I like that. I think that builds real good team unity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do many of the players, do they have a work study job or a part-time job on campus or off campus?
We do. I think that's really important for them to have that flexibility, especially before the season starts and then after the season, to be able to put a little bit of money in their pocket, aside of, those who are eligible for work study money. I think that's really important. And I'm very flexible with that. Once we start practice, obviously we're in the grind of the season. But I think that's part of the experience. I think kids grow tremendously, not only from playing their individual sport, being in the classroom, but also having a part-time job. I think it gives you more responsibility, and I love it. When our guys are working, it just further enhances and develops them into their future. So I really, really enjoy when they do that.
Real good, real good. And then if I'm a recruit and I'm interested in Maryville College, I listen to this or I do my research and I just see the awesome history you have, going on there. What's my first step in getting on your radar to begin the recruiting process?
Well, I think it's really important. We talk about this at our elite camp that we host every August about formulating the right type of email. I think you guys at NCSA do a great job of formulating that stuff for the student athlete. So that the coach gets the right type of information. That's really, really important. I get 20, 30, 40 emails a day from all over the country in regards to guys who are interested. And it's really important for me to have, well-established paragraphs where I see that your writing skills are on point, where you show your information, where you have a highlight or whether it's a game that I can see. I think it's important in your first 1.5 to 2.5 minutes of your highlight film or video that you show your strengths. I don't have all day to sit through, the typical music and introductions to a recruit. I think it's important to put the right type of information so you can really truly stand out. Make sure that you put your GPA, your test scores, who your high school coach is. I don't sign a player without talking to their high school coach. That's really important to us. So putting the right type of information in an email or in a letter, now with social media, it's so much more accessible. I remember when I first started, even 10 years ago, we would get a lot of mail. Now it's more obviously through email and social media, Twitter, Instagram. But I think just making sure as a student athlete that you put the right type of information in an email or on your Twitter feed so a coach can access that, obviously pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so with that, I know you're a young head coach here. So do you still handle most of the recruiting, or have you started to shift that over to your
No,
assistants?
I think in order to continue to achieve at a high level like we've had, I think one of the many things I learned from my old coach, my old boss, no matter what, you have to have your hand on most things. Yeah, I trust my assistant coaches with everything, but it's important for me to know the type of young man that's coming into the program. When a family is investing like they do in Division III, I think it's important for them to know that it's just not about getting them to the campus. It's about obviously helping them, 30, 40 years down the road. So I take that part of recruiting very, very serious. I attend events. I try to do as much as my assistant coach. I wouldn't ask my assistant coach to do nothing that, do anything that I wouldn't do. So, I'm there when it comes to recruiting.
Good to hear. Anything that we haven't covered that recruits should know about Maryville or your program?
I think we covered a lot. We recruit the Georgia, obviously our in-star state, but we recruit Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, and Alabama very heavily. That 4 to 8 hour radius for us is really important. But I think, we've covered a lot in regards to, our program, what our culture is, what our structure is. There's good attendance at our games. Our program has been very successful for a long time. I think that's where you can say you're a good program when you've done it for a long period of time. And to be considered, I know you put the graphic up, as the only Division III program, we have a 70% winning percentage in the last 20 years, not 5 years, not 10, not 15, 20 years. And, it speaks volume for what Coach Lambert, who was here before me, coached here for 39 years, did. And we're just trying to, continue to match that and hopefully eclipse that. Like I told you, nothing would give me greater joy than to bring the first national title to our institution.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure getting to know you and your program, and wish you guys great success. Recruits here, check them out. The biggest thing I tell kids is watch these games online. The streaming services that Maryville has and other schools is great. It's like you're watching a game on ESPN with the graphics and just the quality that they have with Stretch Internet and all the streaming devices that are out there. So check them out online so that way you can see their style of play and keep tabs on them here through the season. Coach, once again, thank you so much and good luck this upcoming season.
Hey, thank you so much for your time, letting us showcase our program. And I love what you guys do with NCSA. We've been very blessed for so many years to attract a lot of quality young men from your website. So thanks again, and anything that we can do for you, obviously we certainly will.
Awesome. Our pleasure. Take care.
Thank you.